spicy for me. Okay, but let's come back to the topic. As what Sharon just had mentioned that like I have been actually supervising and also guiding and teaching at Gies College of Business over the past over 6 years. My research focus mainly is on the fintech and financial innovation as well. So today, I would like to actually spend some time to talk about one of the courses related to that cover the latest of financial innovation, especially about the generative AI, because I guess that's the key topic for this. Now, since the introduction of the ChatGPT in March 2023, that the whole world actually start to embrace this new technology advancement or disruption of the generative AI. Apparently, in the overall financial industry, that we see a huge demand just for the people having the capability of generative AI. And if you actually have seen what really happened in the US financial market over the past year, and even starting at the beginning of this year, that a lot of investment bank and big financial institutions, including the BlackRock, Citibank, JP Morgan Chase, and Blackstone, and many hedge funds, etc., they continue to lay off huge amount of people, which is what people say the traditional banker, just with only the background from the finance knowledge. That's actually, you can tell. Now, the financial institution are actually at the forefront of adopting the latest of generative AI, which actually can enhance the operational efficiency and simultaneously may try to bring the edge of the AI to the trading and investment. So by inheriting some of the philosophy of there, I actually developed this course which help the student here to be empowered with the latest of technology, especially with the generative AI. So that's the core content of this courses. So we actually really emphasize applying the latest generative AI, not just to learning about the generative AI, but simultaneously apply it into the real financial application, including the trading, decision making, risk management, and alpha factor research, and so on. So here, this is just a high level description about the courses. But mainly here, we try to actually incorporate it, some of the latest research and technology available, including the tools such as the OpenAI's and Gemini and AWS and Google Cloud, the platform, try to embed it into some real application scenario, which I'm going to talk slightly a little bit. But as you can actually tell, just few companies are really taking the lead in moving the technology, especially general AI, forward, especially like OpenAI, Microsoft, Meta, Facebook in the past, and Google and NVIDIA and so on. Apparently, just from our point of view, that if we actually continue to go through to actually trace the development of the technology, that if from a financial perspective, it actually is not in the best interest of for anyone to continue to trace without the huge inflow of the capital, because nowadays, like we need. Everyone might know that if you actually want to actually continue to lead the large language model, then you need chips, you need a lot of human capital and smart people, like Sora recently about the text to video generation. So it's actually it raised the barrier or the bar to actually compete in this field into a very high domain. So this is actually very, very difficult for any firm, or especially a startup firm, to actually control. But for business students' perspective, we actually try to take a slightly different approach. So instead of pursuing the latest of technology, so we actually, from us to for maybe few of you in the future that I will actually see you, what we are trying to do is we try to integrate it into the financial application. So that's actually the purpose when we talk about in the case. So this course some of the knowledge that you already accumulated in the past through your learning experience, either through your college education or through your working experience. And many of you, I believe, that before coming to the United States, that you already accumulated a lot of working experience. This is so far I have been. I'm very impressed by a lot of you very smart talents who have been working in the big firms, international firms back in India and other places before coming to the States. Very hands-on, so that which actually allow you to take in the lead by applying and integrate this latest technology into the real cases. For instance, some of the cases or assignment that we are doing here is trying to leverage the latest of AI, trying to interpret some of the financial appearance, such as the Federal Reserve conversation. As some of you might have heard about that, it's like the Federal Reserve, the central bank of the United States, which actually have a huge impacts over the financial market movements. Any time, any moment, whenever the chairman now is Chairman Powell, every time when he actually started to talk about the policy for the Federal Reserve with regard to the rate, the interest rate hike path, either going up or either going or cutting the rate going down, that the market would move significantly and dramatically. And a lot of hedge fund and financial institutions are very wary about this change or even some minus tone or minus change over his talk. So in this courses, we are actually trying to build a case that you students will learn how to actually using the open AIs and some whispers API to decode or decipher the Federal Reserve talk to build a trading system. So which actually tend to be very powerful and very interesting. So through this kind of a case, just vertically embedded into the financial applications, you can gain your edge. Apparently, this is just one cases. The other cases might be some trading bots. So some of you might really like doing the trading and trading the either U.S. stock or either Indian stock. And from my perspective, I think the next decade of the financial market actually really lie into India. So I actually really encourage all of the Indian students, like in the course or even at Gies College, just continue to invest back to India rather than actually invest into the U.S. Apparently, even though U.S. might still be good, but I think the next decade will still be the decade of India. So we actually trying to build some trading bot just for the Indian market at the moment, using the Indian ETF, just trading on the US as a proxy. So this is, well, as you can see, these are some of the real application, which actually, whenever, regardless whether in the future that you are going into the investment firm or asset management firm or trading firm, a hedge fund, and so on. So you can rapidly just related to what you have learned in the classroom to the real application immediately, hands-on. So from what I have seen, it's like most of the students, especially those ones who had already taken the courses here related to generative AI, and later on, I think Professor Sachdev and also Professor Du actually also have other similar courses tied center around the AI, and we have been doing the research together. So you can see this is a lot of things will just prepare you into your future career. And as what Saran just showed, that many of you just retaking the career advancement as one of the major initiatives. I think this is setting you as a great foundation going forward. That's all my introduction today.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Zhang, for that wonderful presentation. Just going to quickly add myself to Spotlight. If you have questions for Dr. Zhang, he's going to be around here just for a few more minutes. So please use the Q&A tab. Ask some of the questions if you have. Right now, we've had Dr. Zhang questions more on the program and the admission criteria. So no questions now for you. What we'll do is we'll let you carry on. If we have any questions, we'll route them to you, and then we'll try and find a way how we can get these questions answered for the students. But thank you so much, Dr. Zhang. This has been extremely insightful, extremely wonderful. And if folks have any questions, feel free to write them in the Q&A tab about the wonderful presentation by Dr. Zhang. But for now, we absolutely thank you for everything, and we shall be in touch, and we'll reach out to you once we've got something.
Yes, I will be here online for a few minutes. Answer the question over the chat. So if you have any question for me, this is the add on the chat. I will actually try to type in and answer simultaneously. Okay.
Wonderful. Great. Thank you so much, Dr. Zhang. Now, we've got the next set that we'd like to talk about, and we have Dr. Vishal Sachdev, who has joined here. He's the director of the MS Analytics program and the Teaching and Learning Faculty Innovation Scholar at the Gies College of Business. He's been an assistant professor of the business administration, and he's been with Urbana-Champaign since 2008. He's held multiple positions. He's also been honored as the Emerging Award for Excellence in Public Engagement for his local, national, and global contributions with Maker Lab, which is one of the interesting pieces which we'd like him to talk about during his presentation. So less of me, more of Dr. Vishal Sachdev. Thank you so much for taking out time, for this session, and we'd like to learn more about your takes on artificial intelligence.
Sure, thank you. Can you all hear me okay? Yes. So thank you all. Pleasure to meet you. I'm in the information systems group at the College of Business. So, we have finance, accounting, and Professor Fei and Professor Zhang. We are sort of representing all three units of the College of Business. And as I've been here about 15 years, different roles, right? The Maker Lab is a 3D printing lab set up in a College of Business. We have multiple master's programs, and in several of those, we are actively using AI in the classroom, and not just in the classroom. As Professor Zhang said, many of these go into research projects, and many a time students like you who come with a lot of industry experience or just a passion for learning will work with many of these faculty on these research projects. So Professor Zhang and I have worked on blockchain analytics as well. So you have a lot of opportunities to leverage emerging technology, learn it, maybe in the classroom, maybe outside, in several different ways, and then you have opportunities to apply it with real companies, with real problems in different ways, shapes, and form in pretty much every program that you do. And there are enough opportunities outside. So like we are talking about AI in education here, but learning and then delivering actual products is also possible when you join any program at the College of Business. So don't think if you're talking about AI in the classroom, that's the only place where you get to use and try out these new tools, right? So there's a lot of investment on campus, a lot of for example, most of us will have some grants or positions which provide funding to research, to try it in the classrooms. So it's a really great place to come and learn. So hopefully some of you will. So I will share one example of a course where I am using AI as integral to the course. But really, if any one of us start using this in one class, we are pretty much using it everywhere, right? So I teach courses on databases where I use this as well. So the different applications and different courses. This is an IT strategy course where students are learning. It's an introductory course, so students are learning about how information systems can create value for a business, right? So it's not about really understanding the detailed technical part, but more about applying information systems to create business value. So a lot of case studies, a lot of discussion, a lot of frameworks, right? We are often talking about strategy rather than technology, right? So yes, strategy informed by or enabled by technology. So in that context, we have, I have integrated large language models, and of course, ChatGPT, or GPT 3.5 and GPT-4, which power the backend interface for this. So I've used it probably in 6 or 7 ways in that one course itself. So I'm demonstrating just one example, and I think the overall idea, I think the Professor Zhang also mentioned, is that AI sort of makes you much more productive, right? You can do a lot more. But at the same time, you've got to figure out how to use it effectively so that you're actually learning, and you're not replacing your learning with AI, but using AI for augmenting your learning. And then of course, productivity, right? You are, when you come here for a master's program, you're coming here for 1 year, 15 months, 18 months, and then you want to go back into the industry and be more productive as a result of that, right? So that's the big idea, right? AI as augmentation for learning and then for productivity. So in this case, in this course, we have a lot of discussions, we have a lot of case studies. So one such activity is where we are trying to get students to have an informed opinion on the role of IT as a source of competitive advantage, right? The background is that we've had so many years of IT investments. Everybody has easy access to all the machine learning algorithms, ChatGPT, and even the premium version is $20 a month. All the cloud infrastructure is available to everybody. So then one perspective is that IT is no longer a source of competitive advantage. It's just something that you need to invest in and stay up to date with. Of course, the opposite side is, yes, it has some competitive advantage. So there's a set of readings that are available. And then students, before they actually debate with each other, right? They're assigned, half the classes assigned a position saying IT does matter. Half the classes assigned IT does not matter. Now, before students actually debate with each other, it's not a live debate, like this is online asynchronous. So this is all happening on discussion forums. So the first step is that students debate with a bot which is assigned the opposite position, right? So they are sharing their arguments. The bot is responding because the bot has been given a prompt where it takes that position, right? So my job is to write the best prompt, right? Or, prompt engineering, right? And then the bot takes over the conversation with the student, and the student has a few interactions. And then once they've finalized their response after reading what the bot is saying opposite to their position, then they can have a better conversation with each other, right? So that's the idea, right? Simulate essentially a debate without actually having a real student, and then actually debate. So I'll show you. The infrastructure is, we are doing this in Discord. Discord is another chat platform which many of you might use. And the reason is because I can actually monitor what students are doing and what the bot is saying. So otherwise, if you just use ChatGPT or whatever, you don't really monitor what's going on, because that's the important part, right? How students are using AI is important, because my opinion is that the output will usually be good, but you're just going to make sure that students don't sidestep the learning, right? So here are some screenshots. So this bot is named Erin inside the server, and every student is interacting with the bot. And so, the debate opener, the bot says, here's what we are talking about. My key argument, right? So the bot is acting like a person, that IT is as a commodity, right? So the bot is saying IT does not matter. And the student, which you see at the bottom, I've hidden the student name, is saying, but IT is actually about how people use it, right? It's not about the technology, but it's about how people use it. So second response from the bot says, yeah, that's a great point you made, but yes, value does depend on how it's used. But looking back at what this person says, and the focus article was from Nicholas Carr, says that as IT is more common, more available, it's not really a source of competitive advantage. It's just infrastructure like electricity, right? The student says something else, the bot says something else, and this goes on. If the student does it right, this goes on for 5 or 6 turns, right? Yeah, sometimes, this is not ideal. Maybe the students don't do all that conversation. But the benefit is that the student is sort of getting primed, is clarifying their thinking, is understanding the opposing point of view before they create their own 500-word response to another student. And then these two students who've both spoken with bots with opposing ideas are now debating each other for one more round, right? So that's an example of a chat bot or an LLM simulating a student. And there are several such examples of using this in innovative ways. And you can read about it on our website, on my profile. I publish regularly, so if you're interested in this, please connect with me on LinkedIn. I think that's all my deck was about. Happy to take questions.
Thank you so much, Dr. Vishal Sachdev, for this wonderful presentation. Great. We're moving on very quickly. This has been wonderful. If you have any questions for Dr. Vishal Sachdev, please use the Q&A tab. Till now, we can see questions more from the admissions point of view, not much on the topic yet, but we do expect a lot of these questions coming in. So if you have any thoughts about any of the presentations that have come in so far about artificial intelligence and how it impacts learning and teaching at top business schools, I would recommend that you post them right now. Dr. Vishal is going to be hanging around for the next few minutes, so I'd request the 358 of you that are still here to use the chat box to ask any kind of questions. At this point in time, I also would like to invite Dr. Phi Du, who's going to also take us through a little bit about this wonderful topic on AI and empowering teaching and learning in universities. Dr. Phi Du is the Associate Professor of Accountancy at the Gies College of Business, and before that, she's also taught at the University of Hong Kong. Her focus is majorly in managerial accounting and the research on that, and she's done a lot of research that focuses on social preferences and social equity in managerial decision making. I've heard this presentation before, and I know that this is extremely compelling. So I'd recommend that folks that if you have a pen, paper around you, start making notes, because this promises to be a super engaging one. Less of me, more of Dr. Du, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Sharan. Thank you, Ja. Can you guys hear me okay? Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, it's a great opportunity to talk with all of you here. Although I cannot see your faces, I look forward to seeing some of you on campus in University of Illinois in the future. In last semester, the class that I taught, actually over 50% of my students come from India. So I taught in the same program with Dr. Vishal, where Dr. Vishal is the academic director. It's a great program, and there are many good features about it. For these great students that I had, I also formed good relationship with them. Two of my current research assistants are students from India. I'm impressed with their superb coding ability, their insights with data, and also their proactive working attitude. I hope I will have a chance to get to know more from some of you in the future on campus in person. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the course that I currently teach, which is a course that focuses on how to get insights from real-world business data and focus on the storytelling part of it. Let's start with a game, right? So if we are looking at right here, we are looking at a major list: economics, marketing, journalism, communications, literature, theater. So let's choose a random of that. Okay, so the random choice gave me journalism. Now let's see. I also choose among digital, big data, computational, analytical, robotic. Okay, now we have big data. So seemingly economics and marketing is, I don't know, old cliche, whatever, but let's see if we put random word from data and random word from major list. Now you get big data journalism. Now it's something that sounds really cool and sounds really future-proof and futuristic. So it means that in the future, not only computer science will take good advantage of data, but many majors, many business-related majors are going to take great advantage of this big data world that we're going to have, right? Now, in terms of handling data, what would be an important feature that a data analyst have? Okay, so let's say that here I put a manipulation game where I say, okay, if you put on the right lens, it helps you to see the world in a more clear way. And ideally, when you become a data analyst, you also can help others see the world in a more clear way. Right now, you don't see what this picture is, right? But when we put on the right lens, you begin to see this is actually the main building, the Follinger Consortium in the University of Illinois. So when you do come here, I strongly encourage you to come to this place for a nice theater, for a nice concert. Former President Obama and also the founder of Microsoft, Bill Gates, have delivered a keynote speech in this Follinger Museum. So it's a great place to come to. Okay, so when it comes to the way of handling data, what are the different ways of handling data? We don't want to handle the data using manual labor. We want to do it in an automated way. When it comes to presenting things, I strongly encourage my students do not just focus on statistics and tables and p-values. Rather, we would have visualization, dynamic dashboard, and a great storytelling. The two very different skills related is that maybe some of you have strong programming skills, maybe some of you do not, but something we strongly encourage in our program is actually computational thinking. It gives you application that you can apply your skill not only to one specific program, say Python or C++ or Java. It gives you the transferable skill that you can apply to different platforms, to different AI infrastructure, and to different software platform. Okay, so we probably, yeah, why not? I hope this can run very fast. So this will be something that kind of like what we do in a real class environment, where very quickly we pull some data from the real trading world about the SP 1,500 companies. Well, in the future, after hearing Dr. Zhang's presentation, I probably develop also some gateway data related to the Indian market, right? So we take a look at NVIDIA and AMD. For those of you who have some trading experience, you know that these two stocks make great returns from last year. Okay, it's embarrassing if this is not a show back. Okay, so this is what we are seeing is a very interesting stock plot. You can see that before a certain time period, the stock price of NVIDIA and AMD completely almost exactly the same trend. And after a specific point, you see that NVIDIA has superior return compared to AMD. And if I ask my students to guess, what would be this specific difference that if you put a cutoff right there, you would see a difference in the stock return for these two stocks? And usually my students give me really good answer. They will say, this is the time where ChatGPT comes out. And after that, you see that NVIDIA starting to have superior return compared to AMD. Now, based on this starter question, right, there are so many questions that people can continue to ask. Now, can you specify the superior return before this trend happens? Why is the reason that the coming out of ChatGPT is going to lead to the superior return of NVIDIA, but not AMD? Can you generate some financial data and accounting disclosure data to see a specific trend there? So those are going to be the starter questions that I give to my students when they're in my class, and later on they are going to be asked and charged with answering this starter question with related business data, and then related with the the business insight, and using some nice business visualization skills to answer that. My role, I would say, in this trip for my students is more that I challenge my students to overcome with the fear when working with the data. I also try to make them comfortable in getting their hands-on experience with swimming and navigating in this big world of the ocean of the data, which is a great volume there. In my teaching, I developed I recently published a book that is based on computational recipes to gain insight into businesses, which is sort of combination of the machine learning algorithm AI that we use to address some business questions. And in that, we teach students the analysis skills to analyze text, to analyze images, to analyze human faces, human sentiment, linguistic style, and also dynamic plotting and web scraping. Now, you may ask, like, wouldn't that be too intense for one semester? Of course. Now, the reason why we will be able to deliver this intensive class in like one semester of time is that we do now have AI as a helper for coding. For today, I probably don't have sufficient time there, but I do post some materials on my website. If you're interested on LinkedIn, you can also follow that. What is my class? What is the AI's role in my class? I think AI is a helper for sense making. Now, when you don't put on the right pair of lens, when you're seeing a desert, you only see the desert. However, when you put on the right lens of data analysis skills, you begin to see the world. It becomes really juicy. It becomes really excellent. You see a lot of splendid scene viewing when you begin to have the good type of skill. Now, if you are thinking about data, accounting data, disclosure data, marketing data, innovation data, data about people, et cetera, wow, that's seems so overwhelming, right? Seems so overwhelming. So one part of my class, I use AI as a helper for me and my students for making sense of data. Another type of use of AI in my class is that I use AI as a helper for navigation in the database. So what we're talking about in University of Illinois, one of the strong advantages that we have is we have a really strong IT infrastructure, and we have great resources of free software and free data. Many of them take millions of US dollars to subscribe annually, but each of our students have free access of all of these cool data as long as they have a valid Illinois .edu email address. We have the cool subscription of words, which is something from Wharton. We have Capital IQ. If you are already a banker, trader, you know how useful and precious this is. And recently, there are interesting AI traders that are available where you can see that you no longer need to understand basically what is the structure of the SQL at Words or how to do the Excel adds on with the Capital IQ. This seems to be just you're moving some dots, moving some visualizations. You can already decide to how do I do a portfolio that is overweighting, for example, chip production or satellite or specific devices. So all of these cool materials, we have some availability, and as Professor Vishal said, we have a great Microsoft subscription with Copilot, also with ChatGPT. We have the free ChatGPT OpenAI API for our students, and each of them get a small account that are sufficient to sustain them across many of our data analytics classes. So, and to proudly share some of my students' work from the fall 2023. Again, don't have time for that, but if you're interested, take a look at my LinkedIn account. I proudly share my students' work based on their final project. So that will be my sharing today. Thank you so much for giving me your attention, and thank you so much for participating in this session.
If you like this video, click the bell icon for more such content.